20. Epílogo. It is time now for a lonely man to conclude his narrative, without bitterness, but without resignation. I have never surrendered the hope that someday, somehow, I might return to Gore, our counter-Earth. These final sentences are written in a small apartment in Manhattan, some 6 floors above the street. The sounds of playing children carry through the open window. I have refused to return to England, and I will remain in this country from which I departed years ago for that distant world which holds what I most love. I can see the blazing sun this July afternoon, and know that behind it, counterpoised with my native planet, lies another world. And I wonder if on that world a girl, now a woman, thinks of me, and perhaps, too, of the secrets I have told her lie behind her sun, tore to gore, light upon the homestone. My destiny had been accomplished. I had served the priest-kings. The shape of a world had been altered. The rivers of a planet's history turned to new channels. Then, no longer needed, I was discarded. Perhaps the priest-kings, whoever or whatever they might be, reasoned that such a man was dangerous, that such a man might in time raise his own banner of dominion. Perhaps they realized that I, of all on Gore, did not revere them, would not turn and bow my head in the direction of the Sardar Mountains. Perhaps they envied me the flame of my love for Talana. Perhaps, in the cold recesses of the Sardar Mountains, their intelligences could not accept that this vulnerable, perishable creature was more blessed than they in their wisdom and their power. Due, I believe, partly to my arguments and the prestige of what I had done, unprecedented lenience was shown to the surrendered armies of Parkour. The homestones of the 12 tributary cities were returned, and those men who had served Parkour from those cities were allowed to return to their cities rejoicing. The large contingent of mercenaries who had flocked to his banner were kept as work slaves for a period of 1 year to fill in the vast ditches and siege tunnels, to repair the extensive damage to the walls of Ar, and to rebuild those of its buildings that had been injured or burned in the fighting. After their year of servitude, they were returned weaponless to the cities of their birth. The officers of Parkour, instead of being impaled, were treated in the same manner as common soldiers, to their relief, if scandal. Those members of the caste of assassins, the most hated caste on Gore, who had served Parkour, were taken in chains down the Vosk to become galley slaves on the cargo ships that ply Gore's oceans. Oddly enough, the body of Parkour himself was never recovered from the foot of the cylinder of justice. I assume it was destroyed by the angry citizens of Ar. Marlenus, in spite of his heroic role in the victory, submitted himself to the judgment of Ar's Council of High Castes. The sentence of death passed upon him by the usurping government of the Initiates was rescinded, but because his imperialistic ambition was feared, he was exiled from his beloved city. Such a man as Marlenus can never be second in a city, and the men of Ar were determined that he should never again be first. Accordingly, the Yubar, tears in his eyes, was publicly refused bread and salt, and under penalty of death was ordered to leave Ar by sundown, never again to come within 10 pasangs of the city. With some 50 followers, who loved him even more than their native walls, he fled on Tarnback to the Voltai range, from whose peaks he could always look upon the distant towers of Ar. There, I suppose, to this day, in that inhospitable vastness, he reigns. In the scarlet mountains of the Voltai, Marlenus still rules, a Lal among men, an outlaw king, to his followers, always the Yubar of Yubars. The free cities of Gore appointed Khazrak, my sword brother, to be temporary administrator of Ar, for it was he who, with the help of my father and Sana of Thentis, had rallied the cities to raise the siege. His appointment was confirmed by R's Council of High Castes, and his popularity in the city is such that it seems probable that in the future the office will be his by free election. In R, democracy is a long-forgotten way of life that will require careful remembering. 2 or 3 times a year I have returned to the mountains of New Hampshire to look again on that great flat rock, to spend a night there, in case I might see once again that silver disk in the sky, in case once again I might be summoned by the priest-kings to that other world. But if I am so summoned, they will do so with the understanding that I am resolved to be no pawn in their vast games. Who or what are the priest-kings that they should so determine the lives of others, that they should rule a planet, terrorize the cities of a world, commit men to the flame death, tear lovers from each other's arms? No matter how fearful their power, they must be challenged. If I should once again walk the green fields of Gore, I know that I should attempt to solve the riddle of the priest-kings, that I should enter the Sardar Mountains and confront them, whoever or whatever they might be. We hope you have enjoyed our presentation of Tarnsman of Gore by John Norman. Copyright 1966 and 1967 by John Norman. Performed by Ralph Lister. Directed by Jim Bond. Engineered by Chris Kessel. Performance copyright 2010 by Brilliance Audio, all rights reserved. For further information concerning this program or other Brilliance Audio titles, please call the following toll-free number: 1-800-222-3225, or visit our website at www.brillianceaudio.com. No part of this recording may be played for an audience or reproduced in any form. It may not be streamed, downloaded, broadcast, or copied without written permission. Address all inquiries to Brilliance Audio, P.O. Box 887, Grand Haven,